Currently, it's on free preview. It's all available to you. Let's just go right into the website by starting lesson number 1. So at the very top, it shows us what's within the lesson. What are the basics? What are the key elements that we're studying? Here we have the past tense marker na'a, pronouns ku and ke. We're learning 7 basic verbs and a 3-part sentence pattern. So that may not mean much to you now, but the way this is structured so that when you want to go back and look through chapters, which you would naturally do as you're learning a language, this is just a feature that helps you to know what each lesson is covering. So in this lesson, you're going to start off with something very simple. Did you eat? Which is na'ake kai. Na'ake kai, did you eat? To say yes, I ate, or actually just to say I ate, you would say na'aku kai. So it goes on to explain what this pattern consists of, starting with verbs. It tells us what verbs are. It shows us some Tongan verbs. These are very common verbs that are used in everyday life. So it's very important to learn these verbs. And it also explains to us how Tongan verbs act much differently than English verbs. In English, eat can be ate or eating or eaten, depending on the tense marker, where in Tongan, the verb is always the same. Eat is always kai. It doesn't change to something else. What we have in Tongan is a tense marker. So it explains to us in this lesson how a tense marker is a word that tells you when an action happened. So we go through and we learn that na'a is a tense marker. It's the past tense marker. So na'a ke, which you'll see after, is a pronoun meaning you. Na'ake kai. Kai means eat, so you ate. Literally, past, that's the tense marker. Ke means you, and kai means eat. So this first lesson, it just tells you a very basic and simple sentence pattern that will be built upon, right? It will show us what happens when we swap out kai. If we put in inu, na'aku inu, na'aku ʻalu. ʻalu means go, so it means I went. Na'aku haʻu. Haʻu means come. Na'aku mohe. Mohe means sleep, so I slept. Right? It shows us plenty of examples. And then we come down to some interactive practice. So how would we say in Tongan, I sang? It's already telling us that the first word, see we can't choose anything, is na'a, meaning past. So I sang. So what would be the word that comes after na'a? It's ku, because we learn in the lesson that that's the pronoun that we use for I. And then for sang, you would know, if you looked at all the verbs, that for sing or sang in the past tense is hiva. We put it in, we can check our answer, and it tells us that we got it right. Let's see if I just click it here in random order. Let's see what happens. Well, it'll tell us not quite, and it will show us what the correct sentence is. So this is just a great way to do some practice. For the time being, there's only a few examples, but we can add to this. This website is growing. That's why I'm putting out this video for anyone who's interested in learning. What's great about this is that if you see any mistake, you can click here and you can tell us where it happened. It should already fill in that it's lesson 1. You can describe what you believe is the mistake or problem, how it should be fixed. Optional, you can put your name and email, because what I'm working on is that we're going to publish everything that's found. And if you want to be named and show that you contributed to this book, then you can leave your name, and then you will be forever connected to this website. Or if you just want to submit a mistake and not provide your name, totally up to you. So there's more practice here as it goes through. It tells us where to put stress on verbs, like a question is na'ake kai, see how the tone goes up, versus going down is just a statement. Na'ake kai, you ate. It's not na'ake kai, meaning did you eat, with the rising tone. When it's a falling tone, it's a statement. So it just keeps expanding on that, and then it shows us all the words that we learned in this chapter. And if you just click on it, it's now flip cards. So you can practice knowing what these are, right? Currently it's showing Tongan-first, and then you tap to see the English. So ku is I. But let's say you want the English first. You can click on English. Say now it's going to show the English word first. So when I scroll through, it's asking me, what is the word for you? Pre-post pronoun you after na'a. Oh, I didn't flip it. If we flip it, it's ge. And see, even as I come along here, I see that could probably be phrased better, because it's ge is you not only after na'a, but anyways, that's something that this website has lots of potential for, is to see how it can best serve people who want to learn. Last part of each lesson are the exercises. So, na'aki ʻalu, what's the answer? You would try to tell it to yourself to see if you know it, and you can just click to reveal it. Na'aki ʻalu, did you go? See, we have plenty of exercises. And then at this point, if you want, you can go ahead and take the quiz. See, each lesson has a quiz. What does the word na'a do in a Tongan sentence? It names the person doing the action. Well, that can't be right because the person is the pronoun. It marks the action as having already completed, already happened. Is that the right answer? That is right, because na'a is the past tense marker. It lets us know that the verb or whatever comes after is something that happened in the past. So it's something that has already happened. If we go, also another thing we have here, if you find this too bright or you're reading it on your phone, this is available on your phone. I have this on the desktop version right now, but you can put it in dark mode. We can access any of our lessons. We see that we have basic lessons going from 1 to 20. Then we have intermediate lessons going from 21 to 40. And then we have advanced lessons from lessons 41 to 52. And we have 52 lessons so that you can aim to learn the language in the year. A lot of people, when they want to learn a language, they just think, yeah, I'll just do it, whatever. And they don't come up with a plan, and they think, maybe it'll take me 6 months or a year. But if you don't have a plan of trying to learn it in a year, not saying that you can't take your time and do it a bit longer, but if you aim for one lesson per week, then hopefully you should be in a pretty good position to at least be conversational in the language if you truly do one lesson per week for a year. If you want to do it faster, then try to do 2 lessons in a week. Let's just look at one more example of a chapter. We'll switch it back to light. So in this lesson, we're learning prepositions such as I, meaning at or in, like ogo nofo I Tonga, I live in Tonga. Ki, 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 toward. Te ʻalu ki Tonga, I will go to Tonga. So see how ki is connecting to Tonga, where in the one before it's I. And then in the last example, we have mei, meaning from. Na aku haʻu me Tonga, I came from Tonga. See? Me Tonga, ki Tonga, I Tonga. So obviously in order to learn this, you need to practice. So that's exactly what each lesson does. It just walks you through how they work. It shows you different kinds. Like say we learned just there I, ki, and me, but that's connecting to a place. But if you were doing it to a person's name, so instead of saying, let's look for an example here. Saying siale, understands. It's oku mahino kia siale. Because it's a person's name, we use kia. If this was a place, if it was vava'u, then we would say ki vava'u. Obviously, there'd have to be something else other than mahino. You wouldn't say it is understandable to vava'u. Although, I guess you could say it. But anyways, the point is that it really shows you how each preposition works in different forms depending on what follows after them. So of course we have more practice to do this. Na'ane haʻu, from Fiji. She came from Fiji. So what would we use for the word in here that would be from? So if you noticed earlier, it was mei, right? But what happens if I do meia? Well, it'll tell us it's not quite, because meia is from a person, right? Where meate is with a pronoun such as I or you, but it's just me for a place. So na'ane haʻu meia fisi is wrong. What you would want is na'ane haʻu me fisi, right? We go to the next example. Oko nofa, I live in Tonga. So it's to a country. So do we say me again? No, because me means from, but we're saying I live in Tonga. So for in, we use I. Oko nofo I Tonga. Next we have na'anesio lupe. So in Tongan, you would learn this in the lesson, but it explains how in English we would just say these three words. She saw lupe. Oh, it almost sounds like a riddle. She saw lupe. It sounds like a tongue twister almost. But anyways, between saw and lupe, there's nothing that connects. It's just she saw lupe. But in Tongan, you would learn in the lesson that you need something to connect between si and lupe, because it's an action that's happening to someone. That's the difference in Tongan. That's explained in the lesson. But let's just pick kia, because it's ki for direction. She saw towards lupe is what it's technically being said in Tongan. And remember, we need the a on it to connect to a name. So it would be kia, right? It keeps going. It just keeps expanding on the lesson, more and more practice. Again, we see all of the words that we learned in this lesson. Then we can switch them over to flip cards to practice. Again, you can do this on your phone. That way, when it's on a website, you can do this from anywhere. There's lots of people who don't want to carry around a book or a laptop, but this is something you can do on your phone, where you can just study some of the vocabulary that you should be learning. That's an important part to learning the language, learning as many words as you can, or at least the basic words to start with. So me, what does it mean? Does it mean from? Well, we click on it and yes, it means from. And again, we have plenty of exercises here. It's fill in the blank by doing, you get to click on the one that you think is the right answer. Na'aku ʻalu vava'u, which is, we're trying to say which one would make sense here. I, because that wouldn't make sense. I went in vava'u versus ki, I went to vava'u. That's probably right, because me means from. Could you say I went from vava'u? Well, that's where it gets complicated, because if you were using me in the sentence, you'd more so connect it with haʻu, saying I came from vava'u. But as I'm just saying this aloud, this is why what I'm trying to do with this website is have a place where it's able to be updated. People have said that about Shumway's intensive course in Tongan, that it's frozen in time. There are some mistakes. There's some things that need updated. So by doing this as a website, people as a community can come together and say, wait, is this the way we say things as Tongans? Because, right, I'm not Tongan. I appreciate the language. I'm just very interested in it. But the major books are written by Pa'alangis, right? So this is a place where Tongans can come together, and obviously each submission will be reviewed if you see a mistake, but that's where we want to get a community together. And just let me know in the comments what you as a community would like to be able to help this website to become something that can last going forward and can help the current generation, future generations, those who want to learn Tongan. It depends on you. It depends on you coming and sharing this. Share this website with anyone who you think it would help. It's all free. You don't have to use the website. If you prefer just the book, you can click on it to download. You'll see here that it's downloaded, and here it is. Here's the cover. I think it looks pretty nice. Let me know what you think in the comments. And you read it as a book, right? This is the lesson we were just going through. So share it if you please. If not, just leave any comment of what you would like to see from this and how we can spread the word and get this out so that more people can learn the language.